Mojocare. It is a health and wellness clinic that has raised its Series A funding, and in this winter season is raised a little more than $20 million. That's about 160 crore rupees. But what's really impressive is the marquee investors that have participated in this round. So if you look at the VC firms, you've got the likes of Sequoia, which is double downing. You've got Better Capital, Charate, which is also double downing. B Capital has joined the cap table. But guess who else has? Some of the leading angel investors and industrialists from the country, including the managing director of the Times Group, Mr. Vineet Jain. We've got Kunal Shah, the founder of Cret, who's joining the cap table, as is Ankit Nagori of Curefoods. So what's so hot about Mojocare that's got this kind of an excitement in the winter season? Let's find that out from the two co-founders who are joining us right here on this edition of Startup Central. I'm now being joined by Rajat Gupta as well as Ashwin Swaminathan. Gentlemen, welcome to Startup Central. Great to have you on the channel. Ashwin, I'll begin with you. Tell us a little bit more about yourselves as well as what you're planning to do, and then we'll get down to the basics and the fine print.
Sure. Thanks for having us on air, Nayantara. So about myself first, I used to be an early stage investor before this, leading seed investments at Charate Ventures, previously known as IDG Ventures, and looked at investments across consumer marketplaces, commerce, health and wellness, and SaaS. Some of the names that you might know was part of the board of Curefit, AgroStar, Pixis, Go Mechanic, Smiles AI, some of the deals that I participated in. And figured that, once Rajat and I met, we figured that there is a very massive opportunity waiting to be unlocked. And that's exactly what we're doing now at Mojocare. Let me talk a little bit more about Mojocare. We're commonly perceived as a sexual wellness or a sexual health company, as you might have noticed in the PR today. That is one of the core parts of what we do, yes, but we are much bigger than that. So today we are solving one of the largest problems in the world, getting the world's mojo back. Let me clarify here, take a step back and clarify. So modern life, hustle culture, habits like smoking and drinking, high stress and sedentary lifestyle, all of this has led to the insidious onset of health conditions across sexual wellness, mental wellness, PCOS and fertility, hair and skincare. And today, this is one of the biggest threats to humanity, right? This is causing people to live lives not to the fullest extent that they should be doing, has reduced the mojo of humanity. This is a pretty large problem, 400 million Indians across the country and 750 million people in Southeast Asia. And we at Mojocare are building a neo clinic for specialty wellness, all of the above mentioned conditions. And the goal is to provide a user-centric, full stack and personalized care experience that's accessible to every Indian first and then go global.
Okay. So that's laying the foundation for our conversation, which I'm going to now take forward with Rajat. Rajat, your co-founder, is an investor turned entrepreneur, so he will know all the hacks of how to defy the winter season as you guys have. But let's build on this a little more. What exactly is the product? We've just heard Ashwin share with us what the TAM is, how big the market really is. But tell us a little bit more about the product.
Yeah, absolutely, Nayantara. So thanks a lot for having us here. A little bit about myself. I've been in the consumer internet space for now close to 2 decades. Have basically part of the growth teams of MPL, Times Internet as well, and done stints at Wilby and Line Corp as well. Right now, in terms of the product that we're building is see, these are what we need to understand is these are multivariate problems manifesting in different people in very different ways, right? Hence, on the solution side, it requires a combination of consultation, therapy, awareness creation about the proper diet and lifestyle, right? Like because of the hustle culture that has taken a backseat, access to authentic medications, to treat the conditions because there's a lot of counterfeit products which are out there. Most importantly, hand holding along the entire care journey. As these are chronic conditions, they take minimum 6 to 9 months to get any kind of result, and people do tend to lose hope after a month of on the journey itself. So this is how we define personalized full stack healthcare. We provide all of the above in a format that is easy for the user to consume and control every aspect of the care delivery experience of the consumer, right? thereby ensuring better outcomes for the user. Given that the care delivery is holistic, user-centric, and outcomes-oriented, we have seen amazing user love, right? Like, in that we measure via NPS, which is industry best, and retention of the customers month on month, quarter on quarter on the platform.
In fact, I'd like to tell my viewers what Mojocare is also saying in its press release, and taking forward from what Rajat just said. 12 months since the launch, Mojocare has registered a 45 times growth in the paid subscriber base and delivered care to users across 50% of India's PIN codes, and a net promoter score, what it's saying, is of 60. So that's part of your press release. And it's also very interesting that you guys already have paid subscribers on the platform, because as we all know, in India, that's an issue that a lot of startups are facing, right? Onboarding free customers, not charging them. But, like we discussed, both of your backgrounds, you understand the value of money and how to not take the focus away from the bottom line. But, Ashwin, what's also very interesting is, and I know you want to talk about this, the distribution first approach that you have put at play, and which is central to your playbook as well.
So very interesting that you bring that up, Nayantara, because it's important to understand that we're not taking a commerce first approach and still creating a world-class, economically sustainable engine, right? Because the market is so latent and people do not have a first port of call to go to, there is a requirement for awareness creation and trust building. And that's precisely the reason why we're not taking a commerce first approach. We're taking a distribution first approach to unlock the potential of this massive latent market. And how are we doing that? Credible clinical content to create awareness and break the stigma, free consultations and access to experts, and omni-channel experiences to build trust and solve for access. And we also have proprietary distribution channels that unify the care delivery experience across the supply chain, right? And you won't believe it, we've gone to the extent of curating, upskilling, and creating doctors across these spaces, because there is a dearth of doctors across specialty wellness. These doctors are sourced, curated, and trained by our medical experts. And that enables us to offer a world-class care experience to Mojocare patients. And as a result of that, there is an unlocking of that market that takes place, and people come and pay us on their own, right? That's the most interesting part of our whole user journey.
Okay. And speaking of the user journey, and it's very important to point this out as well, since I said it's 12 months of launch, you folks started during COVID-19. Maybe there was a lockdown on also when you guys started, or a partial lockdown or a full lockdown, but the pandemic was still very much there. And a lot of the conversation we're having since then is about the digital thesis. Is that really here to stay, especially in wellness? Do people want the nutritionist or the doctor to feel their hair texture, see maybe a skin rash or any other problems? So Rajat, why don't you take this one?
No, absolutely, Nayantara. So, at least like during COVID, most of the inhibitions that consumers were having in terms of, let's say, doing a teleconsultation with the doctor. Earlier, the confidence or the trust will only get built, if you physically visit a doctor. But in the spaces in which we operate, it's absolutely digital led, right? So to give you a data point, right, 2/3 of our revenue is driven by consultation, which are led by digital channels, where the origin of the conversation and the delivery experience is completed via digital channels itself. Users are taking consultations with their health coaches and doctors and opting for a treatment plan that is tailor-made for them, right? Moreover, to scale, right, like we are able to drive a lot of top of the funnel through digital content and free consultations, and also monetize these free consultations very effectively. And what we have is as a mobile app also, which is right now available on the Play Store, where users have access to wellness trackers, right? Content, community of like-minded people, who are facing similar conditions, and ability to speak to expert doctors and therapists. So such a care-first and community-first approach, which enable users to build trust, as opposed to push commerce first approach, is what is helping us to scale very rapidly, throughout the PIN codes in the country.
we're running out of time, but I do have one more question, so I'm going to pose that one to Ashwin. Ashwin, you know, like I said, you've investor turned entrepreneur. One of the investors at your cap table, Sequoia, always says, build for India, build for the world. So everything that you guys are telling me, this is a business model that you can take overseas. Do you have overseas ambitions? How unique is this model also? You know, what exactly is the USP? Or is it something that you borrowed from the West, what, you know, what is called in the VC world as a Me Too model?
Yeah, absolutely. No, fair point, Nayantara. So we have to look at the dynamics of this particular market in India from a very unique lens, right? The entire care value chain is broken to an extent where the consumer experience is extremely chaotic. The care layer is virtually non-existent, right? The ratio of specialist doctors available today to users struggling with these conditions is 1 is to 20,000. And over and above that, 60% of health practitioners in specialty wellness, according to a WHO report, are unqualified and fraudulent, right? So because of how structurally broken the market is, emerging geographies present a much, much larger opportunity than developed countries. And it is possible to integrate the entire supply chain and build a clinic, chemist, pharmacy module that's integrated for all of these categories, right? So the ambition is definitely to build from India, for India first, and then global. And this is one of those categories where you could definitely see the Mojocares of the US coming up and not have a Me Too model replicated in India.
I can see you guys have big growth plans. Defied the winter season already. Series A fundraise, $20 million plus. Gentlemen, thank you so much for giving us time today and being a part of Startup Central.
Thanks, Nayantara. Thanks.